Oh, fitting here, so you're reaching here, so.
That's what I was saying.
How did you think you're gonna get
earlier.
past here? Like, why you don't look like everybody
Yeah,
else?
the funniest part
That's
is
what I was
the
saying.
king is the king finding him.
Yes.
Yo. We're glad to have you guys in this great space. We are your hosts,
Mandy.
Candace.
and Brandon. Thank you guys all for liking, sharing, subscribing, getting the videos out there on a daily basis. We appreciate the love and support from the bottom of our hearts. And the verse of the day is...
The verse of the day is taken from 1 John 4, verses 19. We love because he first loved us.
Nice. So, last episode, guys, we started doing the series with the parables.
Yeah.
So we're bringing it back, running it back.
Indeed.
Hopefully most of you guys have recovered after burial. You have your water. You can't use burial as an excuse now,
Yeah.
Time pass.
I mean, some people still haven't really recovered.
Yeah.
I just saw
some persons, yeah.
somebody tweet last night say after 19 days I finally got back light. That's crazy.
Good.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
crazy. My heart goes out to all of you guys who are currently without water, lights, and all the necessities that you need.
Yeah.
For you. But for some of you guys, you know yourselves, they can't use burial as an excuse. Alright? So we have a parable, which is the parable of the wedding. A wedding?
Yeah.
Of
Wedding
the wedding
banquet.
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 So we're going to explore that, take a deep dive, and sit back, grab your popcorn, grab your pizza, eat your lunch from work, open the tab, press F12, F11, you don't know. Yeah. I know you guys hide the tabs at work, it's not that hard. So anyways, Mandy, take it away.
Oh, it's me? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is taken from Matthew 22, verses 1 to 14. And Jesus spoke to them again in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, 'Tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been butchered and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, 'The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find.' So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. He asked, 'How did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend?' The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, 'Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.' 14th and last, for many are invited, but few are chosen."
Many are called, you are chosen.
You've got to be
All
away.
right.
Of the woof, 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 woof.
So I think what verses 2 to 3, it says that the Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables and said, "The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come."
That's kind of interesting in a sense to me, because as we know, we as a church is called the bride of Christ.
right?
Yeah.
So the wedding, in a sense, would be between Jesus
And
and us
us.
as the church.
Mhm.
So the use of the wedding is an ongoing metaphor. Right. All right, had to check with my English lit source. So the use of the wedding is an ongoing metaphor in the New Testament, as we are called the bride of Christ. So of course, the king, the big God himself, who would call a wedding between Jesus, his son, and us as the bride that is to come before him, blameless and spotless. Yeah? All
It's
right.
almost like a wedding in a way,
That the
You
thing
don't
just
say.
say.
No, I'm like thinking of like our kind of wedding, the joining of a husband and a wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
And invitations are sent out because I don't think I've ever heard of weddings where it's just thrown out to the public
No, you get special
like that.
invited.
Yeah, like you're specially invited because it's expected that you are somebody that has a relationship with the bride or with the groom
Or the family.
or the family, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you are
Yeah.
expected to come to join in the celebration or join in this momentous occasion
Yeah.
with these people.
Yeah.
And it's the same way how metaphorically Christ and the church is coming together, or the wedding could be the day when Jesus comes back.
Yeah.
And he has extended an invitation, or God has extended an invitation to these people that should be in close relationship with him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
This is, the brain is working. I have to make it work, right?
Yeah.
So, what is wrong with that light?
I don't know, man.
Okay, yeah. So, the invitation is sent to those persons, and there's some sort of expectation from the king's end of them to show up because
Yeah.
this is something that you should have been
Preparing
part
for
of,
it. Yeah.
preparing for. However, just
Should-
like life, the response was not received in favor, particularly by some of those people.
My response is. So, yeah.
So it's like a wedding. If somebody turned down your invitation to your wedding, that make you feel some type of way.
Really?
Because
Of course.
you would have considered this person to be somebody that you'd want to share this
I mean, I want less
celebration
plate,
with.
I want
I
less
go
plate.
out of my way.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it's one less plate, but thinking, you're saying to yourself, you're getting married and you send me an invitation.
Okay.
Me and you apart from, we used to go basic school together and thing.
Yeah.
You send me an invitation and I RSVP an email letting you know that I'm not interested in attending your wedding. You would almost say to yourself, say,
I want.
Mandy, but me and Mandy a friend. What she mean by this?
Yeah.
It's a up.
Yeah. It's like, it's a this thing.
Yeah.
What ma do you must have wonder some sort of way. So the king must have felt the same way in this instance where he had sent out these invitations to these persons, and to receive that response must have been very disheartening. Because would have consider you as somebody who would have know the program.
So even coming down in verses 4 to 5, the initial invitation was sent out to those who he specially invited and they didn't want it. He sent it out again to those who were specially invited. It says in verse 4, then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle.
Oh, so he's trying to
have
say, yo,
been
food there
butchered."
now.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yeah.
him said, come to the wedding banquet. But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business.
That's crazy.
So it really Sorry. So he sent us an invitation. They declined. They refused. He's just like, listen, you're not for wait long. The food is here. Everything that you want is here. The revelry is about to start. You need to be here. It's about to be live. It's about to be lit. We're gonna have a great time. The music is on and pumping. You don't even have to be here for the ceremony. Just the
reception.
Banquet. Yeah.
Just come at the
Just
reception.
the reception.
Would even not go, like you must say, you
Exactly.
even have to hear the MC talk as you come and get your plate of
You
food.
get a plate of
Precisely.
Yeah.
Your plate put on for you specifically. Everything done cook. You don't have to wait for nothing. The food hot and ready for move. You just need to show up. And they still refuse.
But you know what's funny about that? He had to say that in the other invitation to get them to come.
Yes.
them to come.
But the first one, they're probably like, him send the mission, you're like, I'm gonna go to king something, man. And then him say, yo, there's food. Food and wine and beer things, like food there. And they sit in the shop. And I can think about it as, you know, when like church have altar call. Yeah. You know, church have altar call, and then they'll be like, yeah, the invitation to let the Lord into your heart is here.
Yeah.
And some persons, they'll just sit there and be like, nah, man, I'm good. But then if you got the invitation, you know, have access to the good food.
Yeah.
Which should be the oxtail,
Yeah.
the ram,
Curry goats.
the curry goat, the bison, the calamari, you see me? The good things that God has in store. But now,
caviar.
you might go somewhere else and somebody may talk about the goodness of God, but you're like, brother, all I am I tell, you don't believe him. So whenever that's the same thing.
It is.
It's probably
It
the same correlation.
It is the same thing, and it goes on to show what happens when they did not listen or did not answer that call.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, the call is not just for the people them that's on the outside. He sent for the people that was
Specifically.
already on the inside, the
Yeah.
people that should have already been saved and received salvation. And it shows you just how crazy it is that you would have people that accept Christ but still don't do it 100%. Because it's like them I tell you constantly, Sunday after Sunday, say Jesus Christ is coming soon, and you say, oh well, me I hear this from me a little pitney, my grandfather hear this from him a pitney, and
from
him
Mandy
can't
and
come
me.
yet, and you may never know. No man knows.
The day nor the hour.
No man knows, and it might just be at that time when you've received like a final warning, and you decided that, you know, you're going to harden your heart and not listen. And when the fire and something come, none of them say him send out him army.
Hold on, yeah, well.
Yeah, because even when I was looking at it, it said they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. So it's, to me, it's sort of like, say for instance, you send out your wedding, you send out a save the dates, right? So the first invitation, I'm taking it as a save the dates. And then say, already, yeah, but I'm not about to go to this. It's probably too far. You see, because nobody knows the day nor the hour. So everybody thinks that them have time. It's probably too far. So they're probably like, you know what, I'm not even going to consider it because it's so far from now. And then you get the other one, which is like the invitation that tell you, say, yo, this is the dress code. This is the time that the ceremony starts. This is how you need to be here. This tell you whether or not the picnic them need for come and all them something here, whether it's an adult alone party. You get the invitation now. And then see them say, Chano, no see my work on that day then. You got to save the date. You were told that he was coming back.
In advance.
You were told
way in advance
that he was coming back. You got to save the dates. And then they sent out the real invitation now. And you're just like, but my work, you know, I can't, oh my God,
Can't do that, you know.
I can't match this out, you know.
Can't go
Something's
Brandon
going
with
to
it.
have to give, and don't tell the boss I'm come in. And I already have things at the yard I need to sort out. So you now take it upon yourself to determine that this invitation that you've been given holds no importance whatsoever. You don't even bother look at, they said, it paid no attention and went off. One to his field, another to his business. Even comes down and says, the rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. So this now comes to those who would be a bit more hostile to the invitation that has been given to them. Now you have persons, of course, we're living in a world where there are several different belief systems that persons will hold on to, and not everyone is met with grace and patience really when they're approached with the message. Could be for various different reasons. A different belief system, past trauma with somebody in the church, how they view the church, how they've been raised, or just a general lack of exposure to something different like the gospel, and they don't take kindly to it. Sometimes I think it might even be out of fear to acknowledge the fact that there's something after this life.
Yeah, because I've come across that question before from somebody that asked, do I just keep living this life over and over again? And I was like, honestly, I can't tell you what happens
Yeah, I don't know either.
after God come. All I know is that we shall have a grand time up in heaven, have a grand time, right? But those questions can really make some people sit down and think like,
Yeah.
is my life just going to keep repeating like this? Is there an afterlife? Is there rebirth?
Yeah.
Am I just going to always come back as Deidre? Am I always going to come back as Brandon? Am I always going to come back as Candace?
Is there any coming
Is
back?
there
period?
any coming back? What's,
Yeah.
you know, the questions are there, and it will sometimes try to pull you away
Yeah.
from the goal at hand. Like, we can figure out all of that because God himself will reveal things to you the more you stay close to him and really study his word and all those things. And I think it's that part where the man will get thrown out
Okay.
kind of speaks to that, because mere acceptance is not enough to get you in.
You have to look the
Like, you
parts.
have to live,
Yeah.
breathe, eat it 24/7.
You have to look the parts.
Yeah, yes. It's like qualifications we need to get into college. Like, what do you get
need
after high
certain,
school?
I mean, associates or diploma.
Yeah, that is not enough. They want to see what you're doing a CAPE. They want to see what you're doing a CSEC. They
Yeah.
want to know if you were a part of any extracurricular activities. They want to know everything about you. So it's the same way. You have to treat it the same way, like when you're going into heaven. Just mere going up to them and say, well, you, but done high school, you know, that's not going to be enough. Them are going to need to see the whole 100. Just like God needs to see your resume.
Yeah.
What are you presenting to God in your resume?
Yeah, and so coming down now at verse 7 said the king was enraged. So this is after them done mistreat his servants and kill them. His servants in this sense could be taken as those who go and share the gospel. Just like the prophets in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament, some of them are stoned, some of them are beaten, some of them were severely mistreated, and for the sake of the gospel. But I believe there's a verse that says you'll like gain crowns in heaven for what you have done. So you will suffer for the gospel.
Beatitudes as well.
Yeah,
Blessed
you
are
will.
those.
You will
Blessed
suffer
be
for the
the
gospel.
righteousness'
It's just like given, whether it be through physical mistreatment, whether it be through isolation, whether it be through just social divide between you and somebody else, just because that's just not a plane on which the two of you can agree.
Yeah.
You will suffer for the gospel. And so it says in verse 7, the king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. So there is, of course, going to be repayment for those who touch the Lord's anointed. Right? So,
Yeah.
and then we're coming down now to verse 8. Then he said to his servants, the wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. So whether you make it or not, the wedding is going to keep. Whether you're ready or not,
A show must
the
go
wedding
on.
is going to keep. Right? So it doesn't really matter really to God. How you get in there, the fact that you come, you heard the call, and you went, and you acknowledge that, okay, the king is calling me, it's time to put myself together and come. That's what matters most. Doesn't matter how long you've been good. I put good in air quotes.
Oh, it's back.
Doesn't
Nice.
matter how long you've been living this amazing, morally upstanding life. What matters is, did you hear the call and did you acknowledge the call?
I think. Oh, he was finished.
Yeah.
I think the interesting part about it is that he said, gathered. So he said, so the servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both good and bad, and the wedding was furnished with guests. Interesting part is that the servants that didn't deserve to go, he said, all right, I'm going to open now this invitation to everybody that's out there. I wonder if that could be related to like the Sadducees and the Pharisees and like them and
Yeah.
they don't,
definitely.
because when Jesus was preaching the gospel at the time, he was like, these people they're not it's like they're not clocking it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, Gentiles,
Yeah.
Send the
Yeah, it's
gospel out.
definitely,
I
it's
was
definitely
thinking
for
too,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
you're saying the gospel
Same.
because these people clearly don't want to hear me. So
Yeah.
The religious leaders, they weren't really believing for you, like,
No.
and you know what? That's because they thought they had everything figured out for themselves.
They didn't even believe that Jesus was the
it could
Messiah.
have been where Jesus was from, because they were expecting a king.
Yes.
They're expecting,
might as well.
They're expecting a physical looking royalty in a robe, rings, on a horse.
Yeah.
The man rode on into the place on a donkey. On a donkey, so like they were. I think that would be the difference now, where he let in everybody. He just said the gospel is here for everybody now, regardless of where you come from, good or bad. It is here for everybody. And I think with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the ones that they don't deserve to go, those are the persons who, as Candace said, they had so many other things to do.
Yeah, that they believed were
More
important.
But and the interesting part is that it's the king.
Yeah.
It's the king. The king has a wedding for his son. But no, when I think about it now, if I'm being very honest, if there's Jamaica had a king, say Andrew Holness is getting remarried, I don't care. I'm being frank, you know. If you want to put it in perspective, if Andrew Holness gets remarried, I'm like, brother, I don't care if Andrew's getting remarried.
I was thinking,
Fully
would
don't.
you,
But and then they say the whole country is invited. No, that's a different case, you know. But then again,
Right.
if me not get paid for go Andrew wedding, what me I go?
What's in it for you?
What's the money for me? But them say
Yeah.
oxtail and anything, that's fine, but me not get paid. So in this, I know it's a parable, kind of like an analogy, but I'm kind
But
of
you're thinking from all.
thinking from
Yeah.
all. So sometimes we will look at this parable, and it's like the same thing where it's like where they say, if Jesus was here now, would we support him? You see me? And I think most people wouldn't, because if Jesus was against what the religious leaders were doing, the rabbis was doing, and he spoke something differently, and they were fully opposed to him. It's the same way with this here. If Andrew Hollins was supposed to get remarried and he says entire Jamaica is invited, bro, I am not going.
like,
That's just it.
my thing is,
That's
would you
what I-
even believe that?
So you might get remarried.
Not even that he's getting married. That
The
the
whole
entire
country
island
invited,
is
right?
invited?
You know, they remind me of
That's the thing.
this one time in primary school. I thought I was too big now. I was like, my big girl
Okay.
now, fun day. When I need to go fun day. And this was grade 6. So I say, hey, you know, girl
Okay.
about to start high school. Fun day, a little picnic something. I need to go fun day. And all my hear about prizes and surprises are going to be there. Guest artists and whatever and something. And the one time I did not go fun day was when all the amazingness happened. And me, one from the class, was saying me too big.
Yeah, too big.
I missed out on all the fun.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get that back. The
No.
day already passed, the excitement already passed. Who for come and perform, who for give away.
Yeah.
Don't give away already. I'm a miss out on all of that. It's just like that. You in your mind, I say, oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, regular.
Yeah, it's honestly, if you saw that invitation going around on social media, everybody would think it's a prank.
Andrew,
Everybody would think it's a
Andrew
prank.
himself would have to come on my doorstep
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
say,
invite me. Yeah,
you that live here, yes, the wedding is keeping a stadium. Here's your invitation. Come.
It makes me wonder how many persons
Believe.
who were invited actually believed that it was coming from the king. I don't know if they had fraudsters back in the day.
yeah.
I don't know if they had con
Yeah.
men back in the day.
I mean, let's not
Some
let's not
scammers.
try to add more into the story.
I know. I'm
But I
just
think,
saying.
yeah, I understand. I
I
understand.
feel
what
like
you
a
mean.
certain level of faith would have to come with
But
you
then again,
taking that invitation serious.
Seriously.
but then again, back then, you know, like the king, people's loyalty towards the king was at different
Yes.
level. So that's why Jesus used this story,
Yeah.
To do it.
uses as powerful as it is, because he's saying if the king is having a wedding, when his son is supposed to get married, I think the entire nation would want to see that. So that's why he did it that way, where he first started off with the first invitation. Persons were like, nah, brother, I have things to do.
Yeah.
The second invitation, this time they hear about the goodness, what you can receive once you're there, and they're like, brother, I still
I'm
want to go.
like, I'm good at home. We can eat at
Yeah.
home.
But the
We have oxtail at home.
Yeah. that's crazy.
yeah, so and the last verse is where it said, and the king came in to see the guests. He saw there a man had not on a wedding garment.
Yeah.
And which I find interesting is that he didn't have on a wedding garment. So the people who were both good and bad, they had on a wedding garment, because it says that he just gathered everybody.
Oh.
He gathered everybody.
Oh. Ah. So it's not a matter of really, you can have the knowledge of something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you execute the action. So the people who are good probably did know what a wedding is supposed to be like and how that's supposed to take place. So they are able to act accordingly. The people who are bad, it's not that they don't know how to do good, they just choose not to. But now that they've come into the wedding, they've set themselves up accordingly to act as how the wedding is to take place.
Okay,
So this man, I don't know this man.
I hate to say it.
Sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man.
I don't
But
know
it's
how we
interesting
got
that
in.
he said that he saw there a man which didn't have on a wedding garment.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about it,
I don't know how my brain interprets it like a kind of weird way. Go on talk though.
I'm thinking about it. The best way I can think about it is that the Bible talks about you must be white as snow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
So like if you're
the king was seeing his inside, was knowing that it wasn't, it
Probably.
never line up 100%.
but I want like keep it to like the wedding thing. So if they don't have on the garment, but yet you invite everybody.
Oh, maybe it was a case where guy thought it was, all he had was semi-formal, but the dress code was formal. So you think it could have passed, you think it could have worked, but it's not working. It's not working.
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe that's
Guys,
it.
drop in the comments what you think about that verses
12.
About that
12.
one
11 to 12.
that
Yeah, 11 to 12.
end up getting snacking.
Yeah, 'cause he
But that's
said-
so crazy though. The follow-up verse after it sounds so final.
Yeah.
Like it's set.
Yeah.
Because it must be the same way. It's almost like, say, on Judgment Day, you're there and people think of it as a line. Like the Steve Harvey show thing as a line. So you walk up and Jesus looks at you, him scan and like, man, bro, you're off. And him send you away. So like it.
Yeah, go
Because
ahead.
it said that he binding him up foot and take him away and cast him into outer darkness, where there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Many are called, few are chosen. But then again, he said the garment. I'm reading King James version, by the way. So like,
I
King
think I
James?
have it. I
Yeah.
was on NIV.
It says, when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there was a man which had not on a wedding garment.
Yeah.
Which would mean that everybody else that was there must have had on a wedding garment, which means bro was out of place. He was not dressed. He did not look the part.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a part of it that he then says in verse 12, he asks, how did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend? The man was speechless. It reminds me of the fact that everybody has to give an account of what they've done with the time that
Right.
God has given you. So God is asking you like, hey, you don't fit in there. So, oh, you're reaching there. So,
That's what I was saying.
how did you think you're
before
gonna get
earlier.
past here? Like, why you don't look like everybody
You know,
else?
the funniest part
That's
is
what I was
the
saying
king
earlier.
is the king finding him.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what me
Yeah.
say. The mere acceptance. This guy probably just thinks, oh, him say, Lord, I accept you as savior of my life, Lord and savior of my life. But even though him a come church every Sunday
And no change.
and something, he's not living a life of a
Yeah.
true Christian. So him just a go about him there. So the servants them or the pastor them would just say, yo,
Oh, them
Jesus
know him.
come. Come, make we go.
Yeah.
Go see Jesus. Gradually, me, Jesus come. You come, Jesus looks at you and say, you come to church, but you're not Christian. Where you do here?
It's like
You don't fit.
Yeah.
You are not a true Christian.
There's no change.
Yeah.
There's no change.
Oh my God, bright spark.
He's probably
Like-
saying there's something off
Yeah.
about you because
Yeah.
there's something off about you because he said friend, you know.
Yeah.
Because he must say, you came to me and you said, I want to be a part of this life. But you stopped there. You didn't
Yeah.
do anything for yourself. You
Yeah.
just thought that because you said, Lord, I repent. I want to be saved.
You better not start turning with it.
But you didn't read your Bible every day. You were not
Yeah.
living like a true believer. You weren't
Yeah.
practicing these things 24/7.
Yeah.
You come church Sunday, and
After
by the time
Sunday.
you reach home, you don't know nothing what teach. Tomorrow when you day at work,
Yeah,
Monday
yeah.
to Friday, nobody don't know say you're Christian. You laugh up and a joke up with the people them where are engaged in a sin. You partake in a sin, and you're just thinking, say, oh, because you go church every Sunday, that's enough.
Yeah, it's
Because he said to him, he said friend. Now, in the Bible, I'm trying to think if like they use the word friend a lot in the Bible. But then if they use it a lot, if the king is saying friend, which means that he knows who you are, but then he's like, you don't, I know, it's like, a long time ago, but you now move right and you
Yeah.
can't stay here. I think that's probably how the king was looking at me. He's like, yo, something alright.
Yeah.
Something alright, but
I
no,
think-
like I know but
Yeah.
something alright, like something alright, but you can't stay
And
here.
it's so unfortunate because there was no second chance for him at that moment. He was tossed out of the banquet immediately. And
Into
of
outer
course,
dark-
in the
outer
metaphorical
darkness.
sense, him gonna hell
Pretty much.
because he was not living.
He didn't look the part.
Yeah, he didn't look the
He
part.
didn't- he didn't look the
He
part.
wasn't dressed properly.
He didn't look the part. And when I'm saying I look the part as in like this, he just did not, based on the
Never have
standard
on
that
him
was,
jinx.
oh,
Him never have on him jinx.
based on the standard that the wedding upholded.
yeah.
Based on the verse, it says you were not in your wedding garments, so you're out of place.
Yeah, he just came in what he had on, but you're supposed to be a new creature. Old things are passed away, behold, all things have become new.
I wonder if people in like some churches think that way. That's why you have to wear your put on your
The suit
like
and
this.
tie?
Yeah. Suit and tie. But
Maybe.
we're not
It,
joking.
it
Place
could
act-
just be a culture thing, a
Yeah.
cultural thing rather than a spiritual thing.
Yeah,
For sure. I
brother.
definitely believe that.
Unless you're so convicted, then fine. But I think it's mostly a
A
cultural,
cultural thing, especially here.
Yeah, of what you're expected to look like in the church.
You guys, so drop in the comments what you think of this. We're open to criticism, and we're open to whatever what you guys want to say. Drop
Yeah.
it in the comments. Let us know. Feel free to DM us as well. If you feel like what we said does not align with what you think, that's fine. That's okay. We're all here to grow. I want heaven. So it's really just one heaven. So thank you guys all for watching this great space. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, get the videos out there. Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. Get to know him today. And if you don't know him,
You're moving mad.
you're moving mad, bruv. Thank you guys all for watching this grace space. Bye, guys.
Bye.